Welcome back to Battle Cage. It's your boy Syph, I'm coming to you with another Raw Picks video. This is an exclusive of Battle Cage. There are other imposters out there with Raw Picks. Your boy was the first one to do it, so pay some respect on it. Hit that like, smash the subscribe button. I'm 66.2% in the game. Full transparency. It is what it is. Let's start breaking this shit down. I keep my track via topology. You can talk smack about topology. Topology is GOAT, okay? Anyway, this is a classic. Again, this whole card is going to be a stylistic matchup with a theme of grappler versus striker in some kind of way, okay? You just have to find a spot where you think you got the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a bunch of people telling you a bunch of things. At the end of the day, you got to make your own decision and pull the trigger yourself. I cannot tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? I can give you the background. I can give you my take. I can give you what I think. Ultimately, though, you got to do the right thing. Got to smack the right line and cut your losses, right? In any case, let's break this fight down. Diani Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto. Full transparency, right? I'm not the best at picking MMA, especially women's fighters. I'm not the best women capper, okay? However, I go with the flow and I go with the feeling and I go with what the fighter has. I also look at the path of resistance. The path of resistance for Diani Barbosa is to be the bully, is to control the narrative by bringing the fight to the ground, by exercising her elite submission. She's averaging 1.95 per fight, right? So that's pretty damn good. Her striking, though, this is where she's coming with some low output. She's coming with 2.27 striking per minute. Here's your stats. You're thinking, where am I getting these numbers? I'm getting these numbers over here, okay? The accuracy, both girls, they're coming in with some good accuracy, all right? 60% apiece. But the differential is going to go to for Melissa Gatto. Now, Melissa Gatto is also a pretty damn feisty fighter, right? She's going to have the knockout advantage. She's going to have the more powering shots. If you look at back to topology over here, if you look at the last 5 fights, she got a KO stoppage. She got a KO body kick to Sijara Eubanks. Now, she lost to Tracy Cortez because she got dominated, right? But Tracy Cortez, I believe, is a much more suffocating, natural wrestler compared to Diani Barbosa. By the way, you already see I picked Melissa Gatto. So that's out of the bag, right? Ariane Lipski. Now, that Ariane Lipski is a very, very nice striker, very polished striker. So maybe she had the upper hand on Melissa Gatto. That was almost 3 years ago, right? And look what she did to Tamaris Vidal. Body shot. And it took her out, right? So when it comes to fighting and it comes to the dangers of the actual fight, and for me, yes, it's MMA. Yes, you got a multi-factors going on. Takedowns, submission threats, right? Scrambles, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's a fight with fists. It's a fight with knees and kicks, knees down the middle. I'm going to go with the natural threat of opposition, right? I'm going to go with Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto does not have a bad record. It's 9-2. Her losses are somewhat reasonable, although she should have won. The Ariane Lipski, again, split decision. Could have went other way, right? The volume is going to be good. She has a 3-inch reach advantage. That's going to be good. We got the higher volume. That's going to be good. And if we look at, and this is what I want people to start doing, it's go over to UFC.com. They also have the breakdowns statistically. It's only good if you have enough data. with these two young ladies here, we have enough data to actually take this value for what it's worth. So that 63 takedown defense is actually a really good number compared to the sample size that we have, right, against fighters like Tracy Cortez that she's been with. That's going to give you somewhat of, let's say, a cushion if you're saying that Diani Barbosa is going to go and, you know, implement her game. That's going to give me some cushion. So this is a dog or pass situation. For those of you that even want to go that far, I'm going to go with Melissa Gatto. Most likely, I'm going to say she's going to get this to a decision because I do think Diani Barbosa is durable and I do think she's tough. But in this spot, I'm going to take the point system and I'm going to implement this across the board. So 29 years of age, that's 1 point. I get the youth, right? The youth factor is going to be either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on where we at in the fight. In this particular case, 33 to 29, one is going to start going down. One is still climbing to the peak, right? 30, I'm going to use as the peak point. I'm going to give her the point. I'm going to give her the point for the reach. I'm going to give her the point. I'm going to give her a point for her decent enough defense. I'm going to give her the point. So I already got 3 points. What does Diani Barbosa? I'll give her the ground game. That's 1. And I'll give her the submission. That's 2. Everything else is going to go negative against her. I don't think she comes in with powerful shots. Again, I could eat these words Sunday after the fight. But at face value, I like Melissa Gatto. I like what she brings to the fight game. Let me see. I lost my presentation. Let's get back in here. Sorry about that. Let's get back in here. Boom. All right. So there you go. Yeah. So we're going to go with Melissa Gatto. I think it's a dog or pass situation. Obviously, it's the very first fight of the evening. My natural recommendation is to skip this fight, but that's just my read on it. Let's move forward. You got Azamat BEKOEV taking on Tresean Mr. Vicious Gore. Tresean Gore is on a 2-fight skid right now. He got knocked out by Marco Tulio, and he got decisioned out against Rodolfo Vieira in both fights. What did I see? Tresean Gore is a dog. He doesn't give up no matter what the obstacle or the opposition is against him. He keeps going. What about Azamat BEKOEV? Azamat BEKOEV was getting a lot of hype, a lot of stock, and all of a sudden, he gets kind of exposed and violated by a very, very pristine strike all of a sudden, right? Yusri Belgari training with Alex Pereira, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, he's looking really good. And Alex Pereira actually, I think, vouched for Yusri Belgari. So that's a good thing. So you got to put respect in that man's name. Now, this man is a heavy favorite. I don't like that. I actually disagree with the line. He is currently minus 600, and that's going to be consistent. I don't see him getting anything higher than 600, maybe touches 700, maybe. But once again, I'm going to disagree with that. I personally don't think he's minus 600 in this fight because Tresean Gore in his own right is a decent wrestler. Now, he's not the best, right? Let's not go crazy. He's not the best, but we do have enough of a sample size because he's been there enough. And with a takedown defense of 88%, you kind of have to give him some respect. Now, Tresean Gore in the last 5 fights got knocked out by Cody Brundage. He submissioned Josh Framt, who is okay, right? No longer in the UFC. He went through Antonio Tricoli. Again, Tricoli, not a big thing. But like I said, got knocked out by Marco and went through a pretty nice war with Rodolfo Vieira. Azamat, he comes on the scene. He knocks out Zach Reese, right? He knocks out Orion Loader and then gets knocked out himself. I just feel like he kind of underestimated his opponent, and he thought it's going to be very easy to take a very tall 6'6" fighter down and not feel the opposition, but he got smacked up in the face. Listen, what if he disrespects Tresean Gore here? Again, and I don't know how he's going to feel, right? Obviously, just getting a knockout not that long ago, really not that long ago, 5 months. Wow, it's crazy how time flies. It feels like yesterday he got knocked out, but it's been 5 months. It's really crazy, guys. In any case, damn, it's been 5 months. Wow, it's crazy. 5 months. Right? You guys have one of those moments you're like, whoa, this fight just happened, but it's been 5 months. In any case, he just got knocked out. That's a fresh crack on his jaw. Tresean Gore, you know, he does have the killer instinct. So I don't agree with a -600. I don't agree because if this fight pushes into the second round, which it can, it absolutely can. I didn't like the gas tank on BEKOEV. Now he's been in 5 rounds. You know, he's a pretty strong guy. He has the wrestling. He has decent power, especially ground and pound. I don't know about the stand-up. If I'm Tresean Gore, I'm playing this fight exactly how it's supposed to be playing. I'm going to use my 88% takedown defense. I'm going to try to push this man to the limit, and I'm going to violate this guy's standing. So lots of value on Tresean Gore. I'm not saying I'm picking Tresean Gore by any means of imagination, right? But listen to me, guys. This is definitely a pass. This is not a value play. This is a live play. If anything, take this as a live play, guys. If I'm seeing BEKOEV gassing out in the second round and the line is like a -2 to 300 for him, and I'm getting a nice plus on Tresean Gore, if I'm seeing the body language and I'm seeing that he's getting his ass kicked just enough for an upset, I'm going to hammer Gore, live line. And if not, there was no value to begin with because I don't trust a man coming off a pretty bad knockout that he sustained from Bulgaria, because he got pretty much messed up. Go run the tape on that one. So this is a pass on anything. I don't even want to pick this fight because, like I said, on paper, Azima BEKOEV should win. I just absolutely disagree with the line here. The 3-inch reach advantage for Tresean Gore. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of things happening that I just like for Tresean Gore. And his low volume, though, I will tell you this, Tresean Gore is low volume. So that's something that may play a factor for BEKOEV. And if BEKOEV wants to expose Tresean Gore, he would have to take him down. He does average 4.49. So statistically, the math is going to tell me to pick a BEKOEV. I refuse to do so because, again, I feel like this is a fist fight. And if Tresean Gore starts punching on this man's face, I saw that he gets winded. He gets winded. I don't like his gas tank, to be honest. I'm not convinced about it. Neither do I like about Tresean Gore. So this has a pass written on everywhere. We're going to pass on this one for now. Alice Pereira. To comment if you know for a fact if Alice Pereira, the Golden Girl, is somewhat related to Pereira, because I really don't know. But in any case, we got a very, very young 20-year-old, very young, right? Like, she is so green, bro. It's crazy. But she's a pure striker. Haley Cowan, she's 34 years of age. Never thought highly of her from a fighting. I don't even know. I think she might have OnlyFans. I'm just saying. Again, not verified. But I'm going to go with a young stud here. And if this is the fight for her to win, it's an even Steven line. Let me just double check right now. As of right now, actually some traction is coming in on Alice. And I think this is going to be the narrative. a lot of people are gonna say that there's enough for her to outpoint or possibly hurt Haley here, and get the first W, because there was a lot of rave on her. Her striking that's what she does. It's very clean. It's very pristine. That's her foundation. And I think it's going good for her. She does have the long frame. She's 5'10". She's 20 years of age. The sky's the ceiling for her. Haley 7-4. What's another loss, right? What's a 7-5 and cut her? Haley is coming off 2 losses back to back here. So she lost to Jamie Lynn Hort, who's a pretty tough chick. So it is what it is. And Nora Cornwell submission, right? Another up in there fighter. So hey, listen, I'm gonna go with Alice. It is what it is. I just think it's a layup. They're giving her a layup. They want her to stay. They want to develop this young girl, young lady. She's 20 years old, one of the youngest fighters on the UFC roster. This is the future. Say whatever you want. That is the future of MMA, and UFC knows it. And with a name like Golden Girl and a Pereira last name, you know they're going to be picking her, and I'm going to be picking her as well. And it's enough for me to either a 1-unit play, straight money line, or consider her in one parlay and don't get overexposed here, all right? Up next, we got Lando Vannata versus Darius Flowers. And if you watch other, breakdown guys, you're going to have the same kind of sentiment that I'm going to have. His last fight was almost 3 years ago against Daniel Zellhuber, and he got decision out of there. And then beast mode, Darius Flowers over here is in a 3-fight losing skid. So he's fighting for his contract. He's fighting for his livelihood because he just got arm triangled by Evan Elder, who's decent, right? Decent. Let's just put it that way. Decent. Beast mode Darius Flowers has a weakness with a wrestling, because that's pretty much how he's getting choked out by these pretty somewhat decent wrestlers. And that's what Lando Vannata has. He has some decent wrestling, right? His last win against Mike Grundy. You guys remember Mike Grundy? I don't. That's 5 years ago. Listen, this guy, what do you want me to say? Minus 230 on a fighter 3 years ago? Bro, let's just be honest about this shit. I could sit here and try to lie out of my ass, but the sentiment is exactly, I have no confidence in either one of these fighters. And I'm going to say it's a pass. It's a straight pass. I mean, on paper, Lando Vannata should win based on history, but it's a fist fight. I don't know how he's going to come out. I don't know how he's going to look. I don't know what Darius Beast Mode is. Darius Beast Mode could come out and look Beast Mode, right? We've seen it happen. Anyway, this is a pass. There's no strong read on this one. You got to pass. All right, Alessandro Costa is coming off a really big upset by Alden Cora, in my opinion. Again, Stuart NICOLL. NICOLL has let down a couple of people and let down them bad. He's not what he supposed to be, or at least not what we thought he was. He's coming off 2 losses. He got submission by Jesus Aguilar, right? That's crazy if you ask me. And then he lost to Lucas Rocha by unanimous decision. Listen, minus 450 for Alessandro Costa is right. It's right. Again, coming off that knockout against Alden Correa is it's tough. I will be very honest with you. Yeah, it is tough. It's tough. It's a big line. I hate picking big lines, to be honest, but I believe he should get the job done. He's minus 400 for a reason. There's that perception that he's a better fighter. The only thing is just that KO loss. It's hard to come back from a KO loss. Just letting you guys know. It changes you. A KO does change you. I've never been knocked out, but I can only try to, understand it, right? But it does change you. A lot of I've listened to interviews, and it does change you. Now, it could change you for the better. It has that effect as well. But let's just face the facts here. It does change you. So the pick is going to be Costa, and it's going to be about a 6 out of 10 confidence level. 30 years of age. He has enough to rebuild, right? He just turned 30, so he can rebuild. He's very stocky, powerful, has a bit of a reach advantage. Let's look at the grappling situation. The grappling situation. Let's go to grappling situation. All right. The grappling situation tells... Oh, and also the experience. 14-5 versus 8-2. That's a good thing. Let's look over here. If anyone has the wrestling advantage, it's going to be NICOLL here with 2.55 takedowns per 15-minute average. The takedown accuracy is small, so it is what it is. But the takedown defense is good enough for me, 83%, so scratch that. Maybe that's why they're looking at everything. And look, just by physical definition, man, this man on the left should win. So we're going to go with Costa, 6 out of 10. Confidence level, you know, he did drop the ball 3 times, which is very scary, but it's good opposition. Got violated by Amir Albazi 3 years ago, came back against Jimmy Flick, went to the decision with Steve Erceg, a pretty high caliber fighter, if you ask me. Knocked out Kevin Borjas, and I like Kevin Borjas, and then got knocked out himself. So there you go. I think he should come back with a win against Stuart NICOLL. And Stuart NICOLL is going to go back to Australia regional scenes because I just don't know if he's a UFC caliber kind of fighter. No offense. You know what I'm saying? All right. Up next, we are in the heavyweight division. We got Thomas Petersen versus Guilherme. This one is a hard name. Guilherme Pat. Okay, I think that's how you say it. Physically and everything about these guys are complete opposites, right? You got a pretty not in shape Thomas Petersen versus a pretty athletic, tall, 6'5" Guilherme Pat. And this is a classical pressure wrestler versus a bona fide striker. And if Petersen can take this guy down, and, you know, like the sample size, it's going to be small to look at this one from a statistical thing because he's never been taken down in the UFC. So, but you got to run the tapes on the regionals. And although he has been taken down in the regionals, he's managed to get up. He has good gas tank to stay in the fight up until the 3rd round. You know what I'm saying? And carry the power. So this is what you believe in. Listen, I really do think Guilherme Pat should win based on what I've seen. His reach is insane in here. It's 81-74. So you know he's coming to jab this guy. And, you know, he has that karate stance. So he's going to be looking to violate this dude, okay? I'm just saying. He's going to be looking for that violation. The 4.27 striking differential. The accuracy is decent. If Thomas Petersen, you know, and I'm pretty certain he's going to take Guilherme Pat down. Will he keep him down? You know what I'm saying? Pat has been showing me consistency, and he's very, very light on his feet, which is a good thing in this fight. His conditioning is good because Thomas Petersen does have a tendency to look very tired. Should this go to 3rd round? And it might go to 3rd round, to be honest. So expect a striking delight from Pat as long as he can keep it standing. Thomas Petersen, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna look suspect in the 3rd round if he keeps getting, because those jabs are gonna add up. Those kicks to the body are gonna add up. Let's go with a striker. But, you know, Thomas Petersen could potentially just keep this man down and ground and pound. And it is a heavyweight fight, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna stay true with my gut. I'm gonna go with Pat. This would be also a single unit play, if anything. I would not risk a lot because this is a good litmus test. This is gonna tell us about who this Guilherme Pat is and the adversity. This is a pretty good litmus test for him because, you know, his what that was a debut fight, right? Alan Frey. Come on, right? Like that was not even a. At least now you got Thomas Peterson, who has some fights in the UFC. Jamal Pokes, Muhammad Usman, Shamil Gaziev, although he got finished by him. You've been with Dontel Mays, big body, right? But Dontel Mays is nowhere like this dude, right? And then just so funny, by the way, he fought Dontel Mays, who's also nicknamed Kong, and Guilherme is also named Kong. So let's see if Thomas Peterson is the King Kong killer. But I'm gonna go with Pat. It's an even Steven right now. I do believe as time goes by, it might start favoring Pat here. It might start favoring Pat. Let's see, Guilherme Pat right here. So far, it's even Steven. The line hasn't moved, but don't be surprised if the line starts moving probably by Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Next fight. Now, this one, there's going to be a consensus on Jose Delano, sorry. And he's going to be a pretty hefty favorite, minus 400. Some books already have him at minus 420, so he's going up. He's going up. And everything so far that we're seeing from Delano is you know, he is the guy that's gonna bring the fight. You know, I like the other guy. He is he's game, Robert RUCHAޅA, but this man Delano, I mean, again, the sample size is nothing crazy, but look at that striking differential, and he means it. He really does mean it. When he gets you hurt, he doesn't stop, and RUCHAޅA is hittable. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at the stats over here. Let's look at the stats by striking right here. So landed per minute, you can see 9.73 to 2.27. You can see the significant strike accuracy, 65%. And if you look at the absorption, Robert is just going to be more hittable, and those are going to add up. His defense is 57%. So there's that. Nothing in the wrestling pedigree. He does have 2 takedowns per 15-minute average, but again, the small sample size, I have to, you know, admit that. And then Jose Delano at 60% is good enough for me. He's going to be one of the more confident picks, and you're going to have them all around, and I think he's going to deliver. He's very down to earth. He's a hardworking kind of guy, 16-3, Brazilian top team. You know, physically he's there. He's matching up really well with the faker, Robert RUCHAĽA. So RUCHAĽA lost to William Gomez, you know what I'm saying? And he's going to lose to Jose Delano. That's what I think. And again, he's a staple in a parlay piece. I would definitely take him at minus 400 for a parlay piece, like a 2 or 3 picker, and call it a day. Let's move on. This fight, again, I feel like there's so much hype on this Tommy Gunn McMillan. There's going to be a lot of hype on this guy, and they're throwing him a layup. 97% are going to be taking Tommy Gunn. Most likely Tommy Gunn wins, you know. But listen, Tommy Gunn is minus 1,000, and I think he's actually a lot more at this point. Let me take a look at this Tommy Gunski. Yeah, he's minus 1,200 right now, boys and girls. So listen, I just don't have a value play. I'm going to pick him because the whole world is going to pick him. 97%, you know. 9-0. Let's get this dub, and then let's see what he's about, and then we just keep rolling with the punches. You know what I'm saying? And then when he starts getting opposition where we think he's playable, we're gonna take that. And for now, we're collecting data and moving forward. This is a good fight now. Now we're talking business. We got Rafael Estevam versus Ethan Ewing. The Professor Finesser is one of the most amazing nicknames I have ever seen. I like this guy. I like the confidence on him. I like him coming up on the last, you know, a short notice against Malcolm Wellmaker, and he was such a dog, and he violated Malcolm Wellmaker. So, hey, I didn't see that happening. But at this point, there was a point where Estevam was a dog, believe it or not, even though he has more experience and a little bit more of a tactician, but he has become a dog. So if you look at the line movement, there is money coming in on Ethan on what's his name? Ethan, right? Ethan Ewing. Listen, I don't blame the public. The public isn't gonna say that he's a dog. And look at this, right? The line is just, he's been, wow, today, by tomorrow, he's gonna be close. Well, it's already tomorrow. That means I'm in the States. That means people in Europe is taking action, massive, massive action. So from today opening to the end of the day, look at this. Wow, a line swing, okay? It's been going. So the money is coming in on Ethan. I do think there's still value on Rafael Estevam, but the professor, the professor finesser, man, you got to respect the professor. You know what I'm saying? This one is tough for me. Like, I want to pick Rafael Estevam. He's undefeated. He's pretty decent for his size. He's going to be the taller guy, but the reach is kind of the same. Let's look at the more stats over here. Boom. Let's bring this up. All right. So we're looking over here. We have the output for the finesser, man, 5.67. So that's a check mark. We got the heart. That's a bonus check mark. We got the takedown, though, favoring Rafael Estevam. So if Ethan wants to start violating, you know what I'm saying, I feel like Rafael can neutralize this guy, personally speaking. Let's look at the grab length, because that's going to be important in this one. So we're going to go here, go to grappling. So the takedown defense for Ethan is 100%. Small sample size, by the way. Gotta put that out there. But yeah, he's no spring chicken. He is, yeah, he's gonna be. People are picking the shit out of him, huh? 63% are picking of the community is gonna be on Ethan. The line movement is already started. He was a small underdog, Rafael Estevam. Looks like he's being favored right now. The Professor Finesser, and it's fine. I agree with that. I hate to go against the grain, but I am gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna pick Estevam. I think he should have enough. You know what I'm saying? In his toolbox. He went against Felipe Bunes, Jose Aguilar. Charles Johnson is a good win. You know, that's a striker right there. So I'm gonna stick with Rafael. You know, I'm surprised that there's a big split around here. Maybe we know, maybe people know something we don't, and let's see. But I'm gonna go with the Brazilian Rafael Estevam. I think he gets the job done here. All right, we got this one is gonna be relatively fast. We got a fighter from Turkey. Okay, Abdul Rahman YAKHYEV. He is a monster. I've seen him. One of the better prospects coming out of Turkey. I say Turkey because a lot of people are going to say Turkey, but they don't like that. They like that their country is called Turkey, and that's what it's supposed to be called legally now. So this fighter is one of the better prospects now for the last, I want to say, 3 to 4 years. There have been fighters coming out of Turkey and a lot of good fighters, but I feel like this is one of the younger, more promising prospects. He got the submission, he got the power, he got the killer instincts. He has the gas tank to go to decision if he wants to, and he doesn't stop if he's like a shark. If he smells blood in the water, he's gonna go for the kill. You know, Brenton Ribeiro, tough guy, but he's in a 2-loss back-to-back skid. Got finished by Azamat, and he got finished by Omar Sy 6 months ago. That's going to be adding up. I'm going to take Abdul here, and I'm going to take him by knockout. I do think he's going to find that shot. Now, yeah, you know, he's live for a club and sub because he's good with that, and he can get that in too. But I think we're going for a knockout, and because I think his first of all, his money line is minus 1400, so cannot play him like that. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go with a round 1 KO. He really comes out to the scene. I think he lives to this number, minus 1400. So I'm gonna go YAKHYEV knockout round 1. Okay, and I would just literally play like that. I would just stagger same game parlay, just play that for half a unit. And that's pretty much it. He's the guy. Okay, we are now in the co-main event of the evening. And it's a good one. It's a good one. You know, we got Virna Jandiroba, who just challenged for the title against Mackenzie Dern. She came short against Mackenzie Dern. She's going to be going Baby Shark, Tabitha Ricci. So this one, I actually been breaking this fight down this whole day, you know, playing back and forth. I rewatched a couple of Tabitha Ricci's fights. I watched her fight against Rebus. You know, she was very, very aggressive in that fight. So if that aggressive Tabitha Ricci comes out again, I do think she wins. I really do think she wins. Virna Jandiroba, she has a lot of skills, especially with the takedown, and especially, you know, the only with the submission as well. She's good with the submission. We can actually pull the grappling on these two girls. So we go to grappling. So takedown, they're both they're both takedowns, right? So let's say if Virna has problems taking Tabitha Ricci down to the floor. Let's just live in that world for a second. Who wins? Who wins this fight? I'm going to say Tabitha Ricci wins this fight because she got 4.18 versus to 2.3. Now, absorbed, Tabitha Ricci is very hittable. Why? Well, she is 5'1". So in most of her fights, she's very, very undersized, and the reach is always a mismanagement. Not mismanagement, but it's always less, right? It's always less. Even in here, is that how you say it? Virna, I said Virna Jandiroba, Kakara, right? Now, she's only 5'3", but she already has a 3-inch reach advantage against Baby Shark. But who gives a damn? Because it's not the size of the dog in a fight, but the fight or the size of the fight in the dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go with the Baby Shark. I'm going to go with Baby Shark because I still agree that Virna will take this fight to the ground. I just don't know exactly what she's going to do there because Tabitha Ricci was taken down by Rebus, but she was able to get up. And I think she's going to get up from Virna. And if not, she's going to be very active because that's what Mackenzie did, right? Mackenzie was very, very active off the back against Virna. And that's how she squeezed out that win. Now, if Ricci does a phenomenal job and keeps this fight standing, the power that Ricci has for her size is much better than Virna. Virna's hands are not, sometimes they just don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? It's like she fights with no hands. It's like you look the part, just swing. She doesn't swing. I don't know why. It is what it is. Everybody's different. Yeah, let me go with Baby Shark. The line was close. Again, let's see if there was any movement. So originally looks like it could be going the other way. Again, I could be on the wrong side here. Ricci minus 135. Now it's minus 105. And then Kakara, obviously, they sort of plus line, and the value bettors went on Kakara, right? Fine. It's okay. I won't be deterred. I'm going to stick true. I'm going with Baby Shark. I'm going with Tabitha Ricci, and I'm not being a simp. I'm just, you go play back that fight against Amanda Rebus, and that was the most vicious. Like, she was just vicious. She didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? And if she brings this fight to Kakara, I think like Kakara might just Kakara. You know, feel me? Anyway, listen. I like Baby Shark in this fight. 76% is of the public are going to be picking Verna, so I'm going against the grain. But it is what it is. I'm going to go with Baby Shark. And Sunday we will find out if I was on the right side. And finally, we are on the main event of the evening. And I got to tell you, this one is a good fight. And the biggest blemish, because I'm gonna give this loss to Makhachev. It's a pass. I'll give him a pass. But losing to Beneil Dariush, you know, it's nothing crazy losing to Benny. Benny's actually a very technical fighter. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Moicano was just not prepared for the dog that was coming in at him. You know what I'm saying? So listen, Moicano, like this is a must win in my book, because he's gonna be dropping down in competition. And if he loses this one, they're still gonna give him a fight. But he loses the fourth fight, it's like he's done at this point, in my opinion. You know, so this is a good fight. The upswing is for Chris Duncan. And if you've been with Chris Duncan since his loss to Manuel Torres, you have cashed big time. He was a dog against Oki. He was a dog against Jordan Vucinic. He was a dog against Matej Rebecki, and I picked him against Rebecki. And he was a dog, or even money with Terrence McKinney. So if you rode him the last 4 fights, you cashed big on him. And now he's minus 200. 2-1 favorite. Rightfully so, right? He's on the upswing. He's the younger fighter. I feel like he's at the peak. You know, listen, Chris Duncan is a strong dude that can stand and bang with you. Let's look at the stats really quick. So Chris Duncan has a very good striking output, 5 to 4.17. His accuracy is decent. He has takedowns, right? 3.77. So that's going good for him. However, it's a different type of takedown for Renato. It's not a grappling takedown. It's a jiu-jitsu play. He's going to look for the submission. He's going to look for the ground and pound. Chris Duncan has a 50% takedown defense. Again, now we have a good sample size from both fighters. So these numbers are taken seriously, right? I feel like physically, Moicano's going to have to work pretty hard to get this fight to the ground, because Duncan ain't no slouch, right? He's gonna bring some opposition to Moicano. Like, he's gonna bring some opposition, and it's gonna come down to the power shots if Moicano can absorb them, because we've seen Moicano kind of stumble when he gets hit hard, and he relies on that takedown. So this is a good fight. Now, you ask me from a value point. I think there's a lot of value on Moicano, because a lot of people are going to be sleeping on him. Moicano has been MIA. I haven't seen Moicano. The man disappeared. That means he's taking this fight seriously. I want to hear from him. I want to see how he's going to look. I want to see how he's going to look at the weigh-ins, you know. And I've picked Chris Duncan. I'll be honest with you. I started picking him since Jordan Vucevic. So the past 3 fights, I picked him against Jordan, I picked him against Mateus, and I picked him against Terrence McKinney. And I knew he's going to finish Terrence McKinney, because McKinney is a do-or-die kind of guy, right? So, listen, I hate to be the guy that just starts turning against Duncan. I am going to reserve this pick, because I will make a final pick, but not here, because it's just, I feel like it's the lines are good. I have no problems. I feel like at the current market, minus 200 Chris Duncan, plus 165 Renato is fair, right? He lost 2 times. Makhachev, Islam, he gets a pass. The Benny fight, you know, you got to approach that carefully, because if you put a lot of stock on that fight, it's going to, because look, he came into Benoit Saint-Denis, right? Less than 2 years ago, against a killer. and he just violated him. That's all I'm gonna say. He violated BSD, right? And but the fight before against Jalen Turner, yo, he could have lost that fight. Jalen Turner knocked him down pretty bad. What if he went down and started pouncing him? Now, there's a world where, you know, RENATA could have went for a submission off the back, right? But listen, this is, you know, a man that's taking this business seriously. He knows he got to make money. He's a dog in this fight. He's getting disrespected. It's going to be a good fight. I don't feel I have enough to lock this pick in. So I'm gonna hold this pick. These are raw picks. You know, this is not everything, guys. This is not the whole thing. It's how I do my business. So let me do more homework. You know what I'm saying? It's only Monday. Let's do some homework. Let's listen to the media day on Wednesday. Let's see the mind, right? Let's see where he's at mentally, not just physically. And then we can lock it in completely. So I'm going to reserve this pick for now. I'm going to save my picks so far. So we can go here. We could go here and let's see. Let's go in here. Let's enter predictions. And yeah, so we're going to have, let's review. We picked GATTO by decision. This one I'm skipping because on paper, Azamat, but I got a funny feeling. I'm going to give Alice Pereira, the chance in here. I have no idea with Lando Venato and Darius. I'm going to pick with Costa. I'm going to go with Pat on this one. Delano is a staple parlay piece. McMillan should win on paper, of course. I'm going with the dog here. I'm going against the grain. I'm going to go with Rafael Estevam. You know what I'm saying? Abdul Rahman YAKHYEEV. The guy should win in round one. I'm going to go with the dog RICCI now because she's getting that dog status. And I got more work to do on Renato Moicano because I want to hear his mental and see where he's at emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously the face-off, we're going to cement that play by Friday. Because if he's a dog, it doesn't matter when I play the dog. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's lock those in again. Make sure we got that in. Yep, those picks are now entered. I'm 66%. You know what I'm saying? This has been another Raw Picks. I'm the original Raw Picks guy. Hit that like, subscribe. You know what to do. And I'll see you guys soon. You know, another video coming this week for sure because I got a couple of updates to probably cement final picks.